So, because you demanded it, I'm going to give you a long, short, quick rundown of some of the Native American legends that I think are cool and awesome. And so, the first one would be the Bigfoot and the Yeti, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call him, because there's like 9 names for him, and he's like apparently American wild, which means he's basically in every state, and basically every tribe has a legend of him. And the other one would be Coyote the Trickster, which again belongs to everyone. And so we're going to talk about one that not too many people are familiar with, the Deer Woman. Now, the legend I was told was that she was another spirit of vengeance due to Squaw being raped. All right. So now that we named those three, and this isn't going to be a long video, I want to give you guys a rundown. The rundown is really quite simple. The big hairy man we all know as Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, Abominable Snowman has been one of the Earth's guardians since ancient time. And I noticed if you missed that, I did say Abominable Snowman because he's the same species. He's just over in like Nepal and the Himalayas, and where there are big mountains and most of all there's snow. All right. So, being that these creatures are one and the same, and they're all supposedly related to Gigantopithecus, I said it wrong. Y'all know I said it wrong. Gigantopithecus. Fuck it. He's you know, I guess he's made to blend in. And there's the skank ape and all these other things that go with it. So you kind of gotta, you know, be fully aware of these things because they're out there. I don't recommend everybody going out there with rifles trying to find these things because if you keep poking a bear with a stick, eventually it's going to wake up from hibernation and maul your ass. Which goes to show you stupidity is stupidity, and even stupidity has to have a cutoff point. Now, let's move on to Coyote the Trickster. Coyote the Trickster is basically the Native Americans' version of Puck, because he likes to play, and he likes to play pranks. Some of them have cost people their lives, but for the most part, Puck's a trickster. He's a shapeshifter. He likes to annoy people. Some even considered him a pest, but he was the baddest fighter amongst the Guardians, and he blended in with people. And if things were going like wrong for like Native American tribes or whatever, he would be there to cause chaos for the paleface. Maybe free a few slaves, flirt with a couple of women. He was a trickster. He could change his shape, he could change his form, he could do everything. It really wasn't much he could do. I don't know if he could fly or anything, but he could do everything else. And if he was a shapeshifter, I'm sure he could turn into a bird or something and fly. So we're just going to add that in. I could be wrong, but Coyote belongs to everybody. And each legend of Coyote varies, just like each legend of Bigfoot varies. So you have to find a way of connecting without being completely disconnected from the fact that reality is reality, and these are myth and legends. And though myth and legends have some grain of truth to them, you can only interpret it so much to figure out what is, I guess, reasonable or logical. It's kind of like I had a debate at work today where uh, me and the woman at work, I've mentioned her before, I'm not going to say her name, and we had gotten into a discussion, and I said, well, you know what? I don't like pretty people. And she's like, why? And I said, well, the short answer is because I'm not one of them. It's like, well, that's right. I don't really like pretty people because I'm not one of them. It's more like an animosity thing. I do like all people, pretty or not. It is what it is. I'm not one of you pretty people, but I won't say that I don't wish that I was. All right. Same thing with rich people, and it's like I don't really like rich people because I'm not one of them. You know, and money does change people. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. And so does ignorance. Now, let's get on to Deuteronomy because I want to end this kind of quickly. And I can go into in-depth detail of different stories like another day or whatever. Like I said, this is not a good month for me. The Deer Woman, initially a spirit of vengeance. I believe the first legend is that the squaw had got raped and was found by a deer that nursed her back to health and granted her his strength and his power, but it would cost her humanity. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I know it was something in that fashion. I'm pretty sure it wasn't something as sick as that she got raped by a white man, found by a deer, raped by a deer, had a baby that became the deer woman. And then again, myth and legends change tribally. So I don't really know what's accurate on that and what's not. So we're going to go with story number one, that she was raped by a man, whether he be pale face or African. She was still raped. That doesn't change in any of the stories. The woman was raped. So I believe that one of the king deers of the forest found her, took her back to his herd, and they all gave her their power. And she became part deer, part woman, with the ability, because deers are very graceful and very beautiful creatures when you're not shooting and eating them, and they're pretty fast. Well, they also can kick with at least 400 or 500 pounds of pressure or some shit. I'm probably like really off on that. I've never been kicked by a deer. Don't look forward to it either. But anyway, so her upper half was all woman, from breast to waist, and she usually wore a long dress, and she had the power of illusion, so her feet would look human, and she didn't really wear boots. She had hoofs, but every legend has different things to it, so she could make her feet look human, I guess. And she would lure people into the woods with the promise of sex with them, and then she would stomp them to death. So, it kind of makes sense when you think about it, but then again, I guess you kind of have to be there. But I guess it really is debatable on what you choose to believe, also. But the moral, the long and short, is that she's a spirit of vengeance to avenge every woman of the Native American tribe that had ever been raped. I believe that the original story was that she was the first woman of the tribe to be raped, and I think she might have been a virgin or something. I don't really know, but she sucked a lot of revenge on a lot of pale-faced men, and that's pretty much the gist of it. I can't give you a lot more because I'm still trying to learn about her myself. So, and I'm still trying to learn about Coyote and other legends, because, like I said, tribally, legends switch, myths and legends grow, change, develop, get better, get worse. Just depends on who's telling you what. If the poor shaman is drunk, he's probably telling you some really fucked up shit, so you just have to accept it and deal with it. He'll probably correct that shit the next day. But anyway, I'm James Williams Jr. This is Company Habit number 2, and I'm Audi 5000.